What's up, and welcome to the Trade Room, where we take a broader macro look at the cryptocurrency markets and the entire markets in general, and then take a micro look at what we have going on in this space. On today's podcast, the topic that we're looking at: what role will crypto play in the 2024 elections? And what does that mean in a macro sense long term? And what does it mean in a micro sense for this year, 2024, this election, and where the market swing, Bitcoin, and all the other coins will be going? If you're here, put a thumbs up. We're going to get started soon. See you on the other side. What's up? What's up? We're back again, and it's some exciting times in the market. It's some exciting times in crypto. It's some exciting times in GameFi and esports, and we'll talk about that down the line. Want to give a huge shout out to the chat. We have Sticks Intern, 91 Karmas, and Dax in the building, along with everyone else that jumps in. If you're watching this now, put a thumbs up. If you're watching this later, make sure to like, subscribe if you are not doing so yet. A lot happening in the space. We're seeing on the charts, markets are trending down a bit, and it's getting a little shaky in this space. So let's get right into it. Topic of conversation: what role will crypto play in the 2024 elections? It looks like on the Democratic side, we're going to have Joe Biden. It looks like on the Republican side, we're going to have Donald Trump. And whatever your beliefs are, we are here in this room currently because you're into the crypto space. You have some investments out there. You're either having a lot of fun creating streams, but you are invested in the space. So where do we sit in the presidential elections, knowing that at least in the U.S. presidential elections, which is the number one capital markets in the world, what's happening macro sense, what's happening micro sense in this space? And this thumbnail that I have here, you have Biden on his end saying no to the crypto bros. I remember maybe like a year and a half ago, he was on the podium and he said, these tax evaders and crypto bros, we can't let them get whatever they want, right? Sentiment, especially when the FTX and Binance situation was going on, sentiments from the White House and the US government that they were not into crypto or thrilled at all about the crypto space. They called us crypto bros and tax evaders. Meanwhile, do you have tax, IRS, forms, regulations? Do you have those things down? No, you don't. And then we have Donald Trump on the other side, who went from, he didn't have the greatest sentiment on crypto, then went to making his NFTs, then went to being donated some crypto, then saying, I'm all in, I'll take Bitcoin. Very, very nice, very nice. So what does this look like for these candidates going into this election? Where does crypto fall? More importantly, where does the equities and stock market and the investing platform fall in importance in this election cycle? And what does that say? The cycles that are happening in the presidential race that happen every 4 years, the cycle that happens in the monetary cycle when you talk about equities, it's yearly. But in equities too, every 10 to 15 years, you get a recycling of liquidity in the equities, bonds, and even treasury markets. And then what does that say about the crypto space in specific, where the Bitcoin chart is going, which also goes through what? 4-year cycles as we know it, entering its fourth cycle right now. So that's what we have in the building for today. Shout out to King James and shout out to Skiller, who was a part of a pretty epic tournament that happened today. That was the Mythic Squad Void Hunt Tournament 2, which went down today and was pretty mother effing epic. So what we're looking at here is a chart of the final rounds that happened. There were a batch of rounds that happened earlier. If you are new to this space, this is in relation to DeFi Kingdoms, which is an MMORPG world creating, Legion creating crypto game that is also a DeFi game as well. And within that, we have certain mechanisms called hunts, which are playing against certain monsters that are created within the ecosystem. And players have been able to come in and just play by themselves individually. But the guilds are also, or have also been structuring tournaments. And the latest tournaments to come and to showcase your NFTs, to come and to showcase your heroes, which are your NFTs, and to see if you can win out, be a champion. Before the actual team, before the actual esports, before the actual gamification has been launched by the game itself, you have guilds building ecosystems like this. And it was a pretty exciting rollout with all of June and what has happened. So it's been pretty mother effing awesome. And just tapping into the chat real quick. Let's see what's going on here. Means they didn't really care about it to begin with. Okay, I think that may have to do with, shout out to King James, the election and stuff like that. Lock in Jewelers Discord, Gen Chat. What is going on here? Chat is going crazy. Thank you, Sir Julius King. Yeah, look, Julius came to play in this tournament. Julius came to play in this tournament. So let's talk about these last rounds, and I think I may even have the wrong graphic up here because I think that Jess ended up winning. So let me see if I have another graphic here. Let's go to Mega because Mega's been doing really good with these. There we go. This is the right graphic here. Perfect. So, in the round of 16, we had Nick Shaw versus Mega. Mega won out. We had Maddie versus DFK Tails. DFK Tails went out, and it was funny because Maddie ended up being DQ'd. Uh, being DQ'd for having a level 15, 15, and 20 build, which I think put him above the threshold for the rules for this round of 16. And it wasn't noticed until a little bit later. But Maddie, as an attorney and a lawyer, like, Sir Worm made that joke. You guys read all day. You guys are supposed to find stipulations all day. So I get it that the chat and everybody else just had no mercy for Maddie. So DFK Tails went out with that. We had Lorray and Cold Green, and up until that point, Mega and Lorray had been just smooth sailing, looking really efficient, and looking really strong throughout this quarterfinals here. Then we had just Crypto, and at the bottom of the on the bottom of the slate we had just Crypto and Caracat, and just Crypto I think barely squeezed that one out. And Caracat, who is always a favorite to possibly, win it out, ended up losing to just Crypto, and this would be important, right? So we have Mega against DFK Tails. Again, Mega very efficient through the semifinals, cleared that out. Just no mistakes. Then we had Lorray against Just Crypto, and Just Crypto did his thing. I believe Lorray lost a hero, and he also went in -2 points as well. So we then had Mega versus Just Crypto, and Just Crypto ended up winning it out. I believe he had a seer in his build, and Mega mentioned later that he may have wanted to add a seer. And oddly enough, Mega did ask, I think about maybe 20 minutes before his round, if anybody had a seer in the Discord. And again, this is why guilds are going to end up being really important and are going to bull or bear market once freaking like PvP and PvE are launched simultaneously. With PvP launch, you're gonna have guilds start to, we call it in the equities. The stock of guilds are going to go up because what you saw in the Jewelers is communication, community, and then a sharing of equipment, heroes, to say, hey, let's put our player up front. Let's represent our guild. Let's shove him forward. Let's see how he can represent us. And Mega did an excellent job of doing that. And that a part of communicating as a guild got him through that first round. And it's just going to be very exciting to see what different guilds decide to do, moving forward. But just ended up winning that. Congratulations to him. Mythic Squad tournament. It's been awesome. Can't wait for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th one, knowing that PvP is really, really close. So, if you've been here, if you've been building, if you're doing board hunting, if you've been stacking equipment, in this tournament, there was up to $2,000 worth of prizes that could be claimed. And the higher you finish, the more prizes you can claim. So there is real freaking money on the table. There's real money on the table. And you can not play if you want to, or you can come in, get serious, figure out how to build strong heroes, and figure out how to enter these tournaments and win some legitimate money. And also, some of these hero builds that were out there were super cool. The equipment, the color ranges that were stacked onto these heroes were awesome. So, awesome tournament. Filled a lot of the gap between currently the testing phase that the DFK team is going through when it comes to building out PvP, and it's going to be super exciting as that is going to be launching on Metis and will be the Coliseum. So shout out to the chat. I just wanted to highlight that before we moved on to, you know, everything else. So tapping into the chat real quickly, Stick says needed to be maximum 4 level gap in the hero level. Okay, so 20 to 15 is more than the 4 level gap. So good details on that. Larry would have tied just if he didn't have the average level penalty. Yeah, he took the penalty because I saw him going with a damage build and went for efficiency. But hey, I think that the priests, the healers, the magic users, their stock is only going to continue to go up, and I continue to see it in this tournament. I love having four priests or 5 priests. I think it's 5 priests over that level 15, and that full heal. That full heal at those higher levels, best believe is going to come in clutch for those healers. So that's the Mythic Squad Void Hunt. If you're sitting here crying about jewel price and not seeing what's happening in the ecosystem, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You don't see the value of what's happening in this ecosystem, right? Go over to Blow. Blow V2 just happened. We're going to look at the Blow price in a little bit as well. We're just getting to the beginning. Bit of news happening here. Blow V2 just launched. Blow Bridge is also fixed. So I went ahead and took my frost bloaters, my regular bloaters, I fried them up, and switched it over to bloater.com. And then I went ahead and unstaked my V1, which was sitting there for a while, converted to V2 as well. And this is just if you're in a DeFi Kingdoms community. And again, you're going to see with layer 1 and the airdrop that we got. If you're in a DeFi Kingdoms community, you can take some of the tokenized items. King James, I hope you're listening. You can take some of those tokenized items like the DFK bloater and the frost bloater, fry them and convert them to Blow, which is another meme coin based on the DeFi Kingdoms community. You can stake that for about a 58% yield reward here on this platform. And then you have another token that has a whole different set of mechanisms that you can sit there and utilize it and look for a possible upside, right? People can sit there and think that, oh, okay, you guys are shilling. No, we're all trying to be a part of something. We all have liquidity that's allowed, floaters, that's allowed to go in this ecosystem. So I'm going to try and I'm going to stake and I'm going to hope that this ecosystem is set up to flourish. And if it goes to 0, I could give 2 craps. But I see the mechanisms that are set up for this. And what was supposed to happen is that the bridging and the buying of Blow is supposed to bring buy pressure. And we can see that that's not something that happened based upon however these contracts were built out. And KP saw that. KP went in and made some adjustments. And it looks like the mechanism that's set up for bridging to benefit price action because you're getting an influx. That should represent buying, right? Bridging and burning of your bloaters should represent buying in the algorithm when it comes to the APIs and how they're taking this information in. So just some changes that KP's made. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the land giveaway. I have a video out on my YouTube that's in reference to what I'm doing with Blow and the land giveaway and how I'm just aiming to recoup the funds that I initially put in leading up to the land giveaway. But that's Blow. If you want to find out more about it, go holler at KP's Instagram or his YouTube or his Discord. But that's what I'm doing with my Blow tokens. And we may be looking at Blow price chart later. Okay. So that's that for Blow. And we've seen some of those positive effects that's come with that on the Blow end. So moving on, there was the layer zero drop that happened today. And just a quick tidbit, you guys will be seeing me on our Jewelers Live DeFi Kingdoms podcast that comes on at 9:30 p.m. Eastern on the Jewelers YouTube Live. We'll be talking to the person who came in number 2 overall mega on the Mythic Squad Void Hunt tournament. We'll be talking Blow. We'll be talking AMA and a lot more in this. So make sure that you go ahead and put your alerts on to be notified. And it comes on right after myself. And this is all a part of the Jewelers Weekend Takeover. So back to the layer zero airdrop. This is not my airdrop. This is Brian Pellegrino airdrop. And if you were in a DeFi Kingdoms community and you were doing your thing in a period of time where that was being counted, bridging your pets and heroes or whatever the allocation was back and forth, you had an opportunity to be airdropped. We know airdrops have been very popular, and there have been airdrop hunts. People are literally only seeking to do and seek airdrops. And this was one that was given to the DeFi Kingdoms community between Layer Zero, DeFi Kingdoms, even KP, and the creators airdrop and the Jewel airdrop. And we see that Layer Zero token dropped at around $4. And it's trickulated now between $3 and $3.20. So if you're looking at that, somebody between everything they've done and Trader Joe itself, if you're using AVAX, gee golly, what is 12 times about, let's say he didn't even was able to get it early. Let's say he got it at $3. You're looking at like what, $38,000 here? That's crazy. Now, did I get $38,000? No, I was just playing the game. I didn't farm these airdrops intentionally. But I got a little bit dropped and I turned it right into Jewel, right? Because that's a bit of a lot of what the DeFi Kingdoms community was thinking. But now when it comes to KP and any alerts that he makes on airdrops, guess what? I've been listening very closely. And these airdrops from Layer Zero are not over. There'll be more of them based on other things that happen in the ecosystem. Now, it's not all great. One thing I will say is that one of my wallets that is entitled to an airdrop transaction keeps failing. I mean, I've moved gas to ETH, I've moved gas to Base, I've moved gas to AVAX, I've tried everything, and they are having issues. You had to use a VPN. It's just so many different ways you had to go through to get these airdrops, and the other half of my airdrop just transaction keeps failing, right? So they're not doing everything right, and these airdrops, as I heard on Sergeant Filthy McNasty's stream last night, as Brown Gent was saying, is like, you're not owed anything. Even just like with Blow, you are participating and your efforts is going to bring forth some sort of energy on the other end. And who knows? Who knows what that will be? But you're participating and you're taking whatever you can get. And this Layer Zero airdrop, I believe, was extremely successful, but they still have issues, which I hope that they are able to fix down the line. So, tapping into the chat really quickly, KP was a frogging baller for getting us so much Layer Zero. Yeah, KP's definitely a beast for that. And everything that he sets up is really in the gist to get the community something, right? He's building and he's not just thinking about himself. So, that's that on everything that I want to catch up on, that the trade room wants to catch up on over within Jewelers Podcast. Again, as I highlighted, we will talk more in depth about a lot of these other things. But you guys know we have stuff to talk about today. What role will crypto play in the 2024 elections? The top is near, in my opinion. But is that a bearish statement? No, it's a preparatory statement because guess what? Guess what we have coming? Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. So why am I so bullish? Like, why am I so bullish? Right? Well, I'm gonna tell you why I'm so bullish. You're just gonna have to hang in there. You're just gonna have to hang in there because we gotta talk about it, right? I'll take Bitcoin. Very nice. Very nice. No to the crypto bros. Oh, where am I going? I'm a little lost. Right? Let's talk about it, right? So Joe Biden's been in the White House. He won the last presidential elections. He beat Donald Trump, and we've seen now 3 years, 3 and 8 months, 3 years, 8 months, 3 years, 7 months of what the White House has done, and this is great. This is a democracy. Okay, this is a democracy. We can talk a lot about what's wrong with the U.S. and oh my gosh, this and that. But we have the ability we have a system. Might not be the best system, but you have a chance to vote. And so these individuals that you're voting for, you're basing them on the things that they are saying will be their policies, right? Policies that they will be looking to change, policies that they will be looking to strengthen, policies that they will be looking to implement, and you have an ability to vote. And when it comes to these two individuals, as we've gotten closer to the elections, we've seen them make a stance on where their policies are, old or new, and some of the maybe not at the top of the totem pole, but some of the trending policies, trending issues that voters have as well. So are they keeping their rhetoric? Are they keeping their rhetoric? No to the crypto bros. I'll take Bitcoin. Do we believe they're true to their rhetoric? We don't know, but we can look at a few things to determine what role crypto is going to play in these coming elections. So, it looks like the Democratic Party, who is currently in the White House, are taking a hard stance. It looks like Donald Trump and the Republican end are taking a more open stance. And we have a presidential election that is coming to us in the U.S., which it begins November 5th of 2024. Now, this is significant in the sense of when it comes to the equities markets and when it comes to the markets overall, especially the U.S. markets, the presidential cycle that goes in 4-year cycles, markets tend to move up in presidential cycles because of anticipation of change, not necessarily more positive sentiments, but individuals looking to place their bets. And what happens in the markets is that the bets aren't placed in when the election happens. The bets start to be placed in because the market is forward thinking. Those bets start to be placed in a year and a half into this. And so when you talk about the 4-year cycle of the presidential race and the 4-year cycle of Bitcoin, you start to see a bit of correlation there. Now, it's not 100% correlation, as in that is the number one determination of what is happening in the markets, but it's one of a few. And when you take the macro construct of all this inertia and energy and momentum, you get something pretty incredible, which is the psychology of humans, the psychology of markets, and where that snowball leads to. And so it's a known fact with many who are in the investing industry that during 4-year presidential cycles, you tend to get an uptick leading into it. And that tends to be the easiest 4-year trade, 4-year macro trade. The Bitcoin halving and the Bitcoin 4-year cycle, presidential elections and a presidential cycle. Every 4 years, you get to run that sponge, rinse and repeat, right? So that's what we're looking at, right? We're looking at that coming to an end. It's a new beginning, but we're looking at that coming to an end November 5th. That leads into the couple weeks that follows after. So when I speak of believing that the end of this current cryptocurrency bull market will be looking the charts, following the charts, fundamental analysis, technical analysis, psychological analysis. When I speak of the top of the market, which is positive price action coming in a macro sense in October, between October and February at the latest, and that's for specific coins. But really, for the majority of the outlook between October and December, when I speak about the top of the market coming in this range, it is because I'm calculating the presidential election into that calculus as well, along with the myriad of other things which we have talked about over the last 2 years. So it's important to notate that date of what we have there. And if that's the case, right, then what are the biggest issues in this current election, in this cycle that's going on, and where do we fall in place as a crypto space, right? And where do we fall as a possible issue on that total poll? And does this space have enough this presidential cycle to make an impact? And with these two individuals that are coming in during this cycle, where do they fall with providing us security that this space is going to continue to last? Entrepreneurs who've been given an opportunity to build in this space. Business will stay in the U.S. and not feel like they are forced to leave the U.S., which if you're looking at continued growth and prosperity of the U.S. for the long term, the U.S. has always taken and been innovators of new technology. And this is one of the first times in the 400 plus years of U.S. history that we have not looked strong as innovators. And we're starting to see that tide turn. So what are the 7 big issues at stake in the 2024 election? Abortion, immigration, healthcare, taxes, judges and Supreme Court, trade, foreign policy. Okay, those are the biggest issues in this election. Abortion is a huge one. Roe v. Wade was reversed or rejected recently. And that's a hot contention. And look, I'm not going to get into the weeds of all this, but I bring this up to say that crypto is not the number one thing. But when you talk about voters who are undecided, voters who don't vote, which is a large percent, I think in general, and it's better in the U.S., there's about 40 to 45% of voters, possible voters who actually vote. So if you're somebody who's trying to win, a part of your strategy falls in line with those who just are like, whatever, I don't care, which is more than half. How do you tap into those while still focusing on those who normally come to vote, who these 7 big issues fall in line with? And if you're in crypto, you're starting to think, well, if I'm thinking this thing is going to fare out well, if I'm looking to invest macro wise, if I'm looking to be in a space for the next 15 to 20 to 30 years, it matters who the next 4, who the next 5 presidents are. And it matters what the United States and the White House decides to do in relation to this crypto space and the different regulations, the different legislation tools, and the different guidance that they put forward within this space, right? So uh, highlighting this is important, but crypto tends to be, maybe if you're talking a top 20, I would say we're in the top 20. I would say we're in the top 20 of issues. I would say we're in the top 5 of trending issues. Okay. We're in the top 20 of just regular issues, which is equities and investing, not just crypto. Stock market. I would even go as far to say and stock market and wealth, right? Stock market and wealth, and the Federal Reserve and Americans feeling like they're getting something. That's probably top 10, right? The land of the free and the home of the brave, prosperity. That's top 10 in the United States. So I would say when it comes to prosperity, investing, wealth, top 10. I'd say when it comes to trending, crypto's top 5 at the current moment, right? Because you have a lot of young citizens who are no longer just looking at the stock market. In the United States, 45% of Americans invest in the stock market. That's half of the population. That's those 45% is going to that's going to translate to crypto, and they're seeing the stats and they're seeing the metrics of Americans, which right now there are 45 to 50 million Americans that hold some type of crypto. They're seeing the pendulum swing. And so not just this election, but the following election, crypto will start to become and rise up in those ranks. And so they're open to taking advantage of that in the current moment. So looking and highlighting Sticks Intern. Oh yeah, U.S. exceptionalism talk always gets me hot. Yeah, man. Listen, we moved the needle. Okay, it's just simply that we moved the needle. So when you're talking about the space, I don't hear many people in DeFi kingdoms, in crypto gaming, in the general bubbles I'm in, talk about some of these macro aspects of this. So, where does Joe Biden and the White House stand? Where does Donald Trump and the Republican Party stand? And even Donald Trump is not in a place where he's getting along with the entire Republican Party, but you've seen certain votes on certain rules and bills. You see the Republicans be more adapt and understanding and willing to give crypto blockchain the opportunity to prove itself as a technology and entrepreneurship avenue and a business avenue as well. So talking about where the White House stands, this was a message on May 31st, 2024. It's the most up-to-date word from the White House, and it was Joe Biden vetoing SAB 121. We're looking to have Sticks Intern on next month to dive further into this Coinbase update and other things that are going on in the current space. But and that's I'm so excited for that. But SAB 121, it was an accounting rule, right? A bill that went through the House, went through the Senate, and it was an accounting rule that was the Republicans. It was more Republicans than people anticipated voting for this, and it came to Joe Biden's desk, and he vetoed it. It was an accounting rule that would allow banks to be able to commence trading, commence holding, and really take that next step in allowing themselves within the full integration between the crypto space and not feel like they would be persecuted by the government. So Joe Biden vetoed that not too long ago. We're in June, okay? May, June, okay? So he vetoed that, and the White House are making strategic moves depending on what they think they need to be doing. We also have Elizabeth Warren, who started this whole anti-crypto portion of things. And guess what? She is also a Democrat. Okay. And so we're seeing the Democratic Party really go anti-crypto, really come at the crypto space. And quite honestly, yes, with the Sam Bankman-Fried stuff that happening, exchanges just going filing for bankruptcy and all the stuff that happens in the bear market in the early days of any ascending business industry market. Bad actors will act bad, but this very strong anti-crypto rhetoric from the Democratic Party is a side that they're playing, that they believe that this is what Americans want. That must be why they're doing this. Like, they must believe this is what Americans want. The 380, 390 million. So they must believe this is what voters want. And they're also protecting those who donate the most to them. I believe a lot of traditional banks donate to Elizabeth Warren, right? So, so that's been the rhetoric, right? Okay, cool. This is your stance. This is where you were leaning, right? And so then we have Donald Trump, who comes in, and he's coming in trying to get into the White House, and he's had a lot of questions, and whatever, make America great again. January 7th or 9th or whatever, insurrection. Donald Trump can say, he can be an ass sometimes. He can say asinine things sometimes. But when you look at politics, president, who seems more sane at the current moment? Who is more adapt to focusing on America? Because this is the United States. This isn't the United Nations. And who is more in line with allowing the crypto space to be a free market, to grow, and to have businesses come out of this? It seems like the White House is taking a really hard stance. And when it comes to, let's say, Donald Trump, as we're seeing this from the White House, and what are we seeing from Donald Trump?
To further secure America's future and create opportunity for young people, I will end Joe Biden's war on crypto. We will ensure that the future of crypto and the future of Bitcoin will be made in America. Otherwise, other countries are going to have it.
Okay. Okay. All right. Now, okay, let's be realistic here. He may be saying this now, and it might not come to fruition, and he could be lying out his asshole. But Donald Trump's a businessman, knows how to make deals, and he generally tends to stick to his word, even though he may just say and do some asinine things at times. So if I'm on a crypto end and I'm hearing this from him, and then I'm seeing and hearing this from the Democratic Party, again, if crypto is top 20, top 15, if investing US capital markets are top 10, and if trending topics that are not in the top 10, one of them is crypto, we're seeing that the crypto space is having an effect on the 2024 election in terms of trending and ascending. And we're seeing the Republicans embrace the space. And so that then brings us to Donald Trump and his party. And he's having platforms that are taking and accepting crypto donations for his run. Now, I'm not donating anything to this mother effer. But again, additional signs that show that this president that's coming in is in. He's in, he's invested, he's taking these things in. So when it comes to the IRS, when it comes to the IRS creating the forms, the structure, when it comes to regulators creating the form and the structure for crypto investors to be able to continue to invest in the space, to be able to report legally, to be able to make sure that this investing that we're doing over 5, 10, 15, 20 years becomes something that we don't feel guilty about and that we're doing it in good faith. This guy's going to have to file taxes on this. So you think, well, if he gets in and he talks to the IRS and says, create your regulations, get this done, is it meant to be in favor of us? Again, just putting this out there, just doing my research, and just stating the fact. And we see that as he's been taking these donations in, Donald Trump's crypto wallet now has more than $30 million in it. And there was even a meme coin, I believe, that's called Trump that was donated to him as well. So not only is actual real money being donated to him, but he's having people just sending whatever type of crypto to him, and he is embracing it. So we've seen all this going on, and with all that, we started to see the Democratic Party start to not look so strong on this. Because when you have Gemini Crypto Exchange founders donate 30 Bitcoin worth $2 million to Donald Trump, put an end to the Biden administration war on crypto, when you have the Winklevoss brothers when you have some of the richest crypto people, Gemini, Winklevoss brothers, when you have this guys coming in gang buster style donating to a pro crypto candidate, 2 million, even after Sam Bankman-Fried, Binance, even after all that, you know we out here. You know we out here. If you're the Democratic Party, Elizabeth Warren, you're shitting bricks right now because you're reconsidering your mother effing strategy right now. And we're seeing that kind of come into play as the Biden campaign is allegedly exploring crypto donations through Coinbase Commerce. The same Coinbase Commerce that is being sued and threatened by the SEC at the current moment. So, guys, this is a mother effing movie. This is a movie that's happening right now. It's just so exciting. It's just so fun to see. Like, we love to track the charts, and it's my token going up. But this is the greatest telenovela, the greatest thing happening in history, the greatest thing happening in markets. The U.S. capital markets right now this is the greatest change happening in money and monetary policy right now, and we just had to cover it right now, leading into the elections, and some of the changes that's happening. And this is why I continue to say I'm so excited to have Sticks Intern on next month. Hopefully, with everything he has going on, he can find some time to come in. So Stick says, I'm not donating a thing to his mom if it had me laughing out loud for an extended period. I'm not giving this guy. He got plenty of stuff coming in. Like, I want the Trump people to start sending things to me. Gee golly, right? Dak says IRS is going to be completely reformed so they can find a way to arrest Trump for crypto fraud. Dax, they're giving them guns. They're training them tactically. Like, shouldn't you be training them on like the new technology? Like, hey, crypto reporting is going to start to happen. A lot of you guys are going to have to start working overtime because we really got to get this integration going. No, they're giving them gun and training them on tactical things and pulling up to your door, bro. Like, what is up with that? You know what I'm saying? Biden admin also wanted to hire a meme specialist to help them campaign. Listen, they feel the heat. They see the numbers. They see the numbers. They feel the heat. How are you going to sell it, Jeff? Dags, as a student of political history, I'm not surprised the meme meme intern. I'd be more surprised if they hadn't. Yeah, I mean, look, they're looking so two-faced right now. It's just unbelievable. Guns are real, imaginary money isn't. Ike for president. It's the original. I mean, look, trending and ascending. That's where I believe that we are right now. So, that is the layout that we have for the first half of the stream. Before we even dig into the charts, before we even dig into anything else, is we're starting to see the pendulum swing on between the Republican, between the Democrat. You're starting to see them leading into the election, tapping into different communities, one issue voters. So you got to ask yourself. If you're a U.S. citizen, do you vote? Do you not vote? Is this an issue for you if you're in a space? What are you hearing from both parties? We still have Robert Kennedy, who I believe he bought like AMC or GME. He bought like GameStop in an effort to reach the people, right? To reach the people. And so I believe that for the 2024 elections, crypto is going to have a small effect in terms of votes, but I think it's going to have a large effect in terms of social media and the cultural imprint and the cultural effect on this space. And I think the imprint that crypto and the overall investing market in the United States, I think the imprint that it's going to leave is that for the next election, if you are anti-crypto, you guaranteed yourself a loss. The impact that this 2024 election is going to have is a small one in voting, a large one in social media, and a full and final imprint that if you're anti-crypto moving forward, you're guaranteeing yourself a loss. In terms of the charts, what we're looking at for 2024 is the top of the market. The elections are in November, and when it comes to the top of the market, I still maintain that October to December will be the top of the market, leaning more towards October and November. Based upon this election, the height of it, no matter who wins, and price action at that very tunnel of November and October where the elections end will show the highest reach of where Bitcoin can go, speculation, momentum, 4-year cycle, 1-year cycle, January 2024 to October, December 2024. And that's where I maintain the top of the market is. And so we're going to look at the charts. Well, how do I feel about the charts for the next 3 to 4 months? I'm going to tell you how I feel about the charts for the next 3 to 4 months.
Pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up.
That's how I feel about what we're looking at with the markets for the next few months. Absolutely bullish. We're gonna dig into the charts. We're gonna check in on a few things, but that's how we're generally feeling, right? And so that's my thought process and the role that crypto is gonna play in the 2024 elections. Super excited to have Sticks on so we can chat about what he's seeing on his end, a couple of the updates, Coinbase trial, Ripple trial. There's a round table. Right, I might have not, put that link up to check on the roundtable conversation that is coming up. But hey, the U.S. #1 capital markets, November 5th is coming. It's gonna start to get volatile, and we're sitting here and we're bullish as can be. So that's where we're at right now. On the effect that this U.S. election market is going to have. Dax, I thought the donkey for the Democratic Party was their original. They're overdue for making a meme for themselves, right? Fair argument. I haven't heard before, but the Ike for President song was similar. Lowbrow entertainment. What up, Koopa was popping. Jeremy was popping. What about the teddy bear for Teddy Roosevelt? Hey, they can come up with a few memes, man. I haven't seen them do it. All right, so we're gonna jump into the chart. Let's make sure I covered everything. We're pumping it up. Election 2024. Politics in DeFi kingdoms. So we have the election come in. We have politics in DeFi kingdoms. I mean, guilds are politics. The team, right? The different things the team feels are politics. We have PvP coming. Coliseum on Hercules, Metis coming as well. I didn't even share my donate live link, but that's okay. I did have my link there. These are all the donations that I've gotten over time. I really appreciate that. My statement has been that this wallet here, I will not touch this wallet until the top of the next bull market. And any transactions that happen through this wallet will be donating to others. I'm going to stick to that. I'm going to stick to that hard bot. So appreciate everyone who's been donating. Shout out to Donate Live. Love getting my points, right? I think I fell off of the leaderboard. For a while. Tamaja G has been killing it. Zen, Kupo has made a great run. Sticks. But I'm back in sixth. I'm back in sixth place. I dropped to like 8 or 9. I'm back in sixth place. I'm loving it. We're here. We ain't going nowhere. All right. Oh, I'm back 7th. Damn, somebody took over. Damn, Panga. It's all good. I'll take my spot back. But yeah, shout out to Donate Live. Great way to be having viewers donate to streamers, streamers donate to viewers, and if you haven't gone to the ranking where you can get these YouTube donations, it's just a great way to go about it, right? So cool. So let's tap into some DeFi Kingdoms type-esque things, right? And I'm going to prepare a few things, right? So I have this statement here. Last time we saw an inverse head and shoulders, we got a 2-week period of non-stop DeFi Kingdoms hawk from crypto Twitter influencers and a 700% run from Jewel. Well, what do I mean by that? Let me tell you what I mean by that. Okay.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that thing. You get me?
What's
I mean, yeah, guys, if you haven't seen this thing going viral, if you haven't seen this thing go viral, I don't know where the hell you have been. But listen, let's take this one more
Give him that
time.
hawk too and spit on that thing.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You gotta give me that hook tour. So, back to this tweet that was here. This guy said, never forget what they took from us. Never forget. Okay. Well, what do you mean by that? The sentiments you're showing here is that the team took something from you? Is this when you put at the top? Did you get into this at the top of the entire market as you were rotating through a lot of other things, thinking that you were going to make an easy bag, not really looking into the DeFi Kingdom space? And I place here, last time we saw an inverse head and shoulders, we had a 2-week period of nonstop DeFi Kingdoms hop from crypto Twitter influencers, right? And so we're starting to see some of that. And, that really leads us into what we're going to be looking at with the charts when it comes to Jewel. And, when it comes to Jewel, there's an inverse head and shoulders that we've been tracking. And the last time we tracked an inverse head and shoulders, we got some pretty amazing things. And when you look at the macro outlook that we have for this chart, we have the beginning. We have at the beginning of 2021, we have capitulation in 2022. We have a bit of an uptick where we thought the bottom was there. Then we had dagger, depression. Then we had a rise from depression, 1,000% from the low, 700% from that area where we had the 2-week period where crypto influencers were giving that hot okay, where we went to about 80 cents, and then you had a regression from there and a daily bullish divergence that we thought was invalidated, and we're going to jump on. But if you guys have been following me for any period of time between the last 2 months or the last 2 to 3 years, you know that everything starts in a macro sense with Bitcoin when it comes to the cryptocurrency market. And it starts with the S&P 500 and DXY, the dollar index, when it comes to the global market. So that's where we're going to start before we even dig into Jewel and the DeFi Kingdom space, because there are some things that we have been tracking with Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is the #1 leading indicator of what's happening in the entire cryptocurrency space. And AVAX is the #1 leading indicator of what is happening in the DeFi Kingdoms. ecosystem. So let's start with Bitcoin. Let's look at where we're at. Let's look at what we're tracking, and let's make a determination from there. If you're still here and you haven't put a thumbs up, make sure to do that. We have about 40 minutes left in this stream before we will end up hopping into the jewelers, the guild, my guild space. So this is the part of the chart. This is the part where we actually get into the nitty gritty. This is Bitcoin. We have been watching Bitcoin for quite a bit of time. Okay. We've been watching Bitcoin since this, again, bullish divergence here at 15K. We made our way to the F around and find out zone here, which is a high traffic area. We believed in support at 25K. We found that. Now we're sitting here at the all-time highs, having a little bit of trouble, getting through there. And the reason why we brought up the presidential election is that if you're looking at this pattern, yeah, you're looking at a 20 to 30% correction from Bitcoin, which we got as low as a 25% correction from Bitcoin. We didn't go as low as 30. We also have not dropped to this bull market support area, which normally you would kind of hold off to wait to about 46K. But because we are in that presidential election time slot, and because we tend to get really bullish action towards this, we are willing in the trade room to ignore this possible $4,000 to $46,000 area. And we have maintained that this 58K area for Bitcoin is a possible solid support area for Bitcoin. And we have gone as far as stating that this 63K support area is of high conviction. If you've been in the Jewelers Guild with all the exclusive technical analysis and content that we've been dropping there, you know that 58 is our forever support area, but 63 has now become our magnificent support area. And even 60K is the ultimate support area. But I believe that 63K will hold strong, and this is what we're looking at. When we had this all-time high here at 69K, we saw this falling wedge, which is a bullish pattern. We expected a breakout of this falling wedge and a correction that could come back down to test the top of this falling wedge area here for Bitcoin. What ended up happening is a trip down, a bounce up back to those highs, and then now we have this fall here, and we could have possibly gotten a test of this 58K area. If this falling wedge rule were to come in place, 55K would be where it would fall to. But here on the trade room, we do not believe that that will go as low. We do believe that this 63K area here will hold as a pullback from this breakout of this falling wedge, which is a bullish pattern. And so we believe that this will hold. Why? Well, we believe that this will hold because we see some bullish divergence forming on the 4-hour chart, which means that every candle that you see here is 4 hours. On the Bitcoin chart, we're seeing bullish divergence, which is when price is going down, but the market is showing high strengths of buying here on the DXY. So we are in a corrective period after a breakout of the falling wedge, but this is a very bullish divergence here. We've called bullish divergence out many times as we've seen in the market, and this one has lasted from June 11th now to about, what is the date that we have here? June 24th. So we're going on 2 weeks of this 4-hour bullish divergence forming. And what would we be looking to? We'd be looking for to get more conviction on this. We'd be looking for a 4% run from Bitcoin, another 7 total percent run from Bitcoin. But to get high conviction, what we could expect to see from a falling wedge is a breakout. Okay, and that's what we see here, right? You fall down near the top range, a breakout. Okay, so from where we are right now, a breakout. Ooh, let me delete this. A breakout, right, of these all-time highs, come back to test those all-time highs at 69K. In the worst case scenario, 67K, and then now we're moving our way up to 92K, and that's an important area because once in a cyclical cycle, 4-year cycle, all-time high, Bitcoin having breakout correction back, we could expect the June lulls. Mid-July to late July is where we would want this pattern to play out. The back late end of July, early August is we are expecting some really heavy, really aggressive price action here. And that run to 92K could happen anytime now based upon this bullish divergence that we have here. So that's a wrap up for Bitcoin. We've been watching this for a while. We've been anticipating this. We do have some short-term bullish divergence. We believe that 60K will hold. We believe that 63K will hold. And we are expecting some very aggressive bullish price actions from Bitcoin. That brings us to AVAX and the price action that's happening with AVAX. As we've been tracking AVAX, and I'm just going to tap into the chat really quickly. Dax says, when Hawk Tour. Yeah, somebody on Solana is going to launch that. Snake says, I'm already wasted. It's not on Sol? Oh, shit. Okay, it might be somewhere else. Dax says, because it's Tour, not Tour. I mean, yeah, I think it's Tour. All right, so I actually had some music that I wanted to play. Maybe I'll remember next time. Maybe I'll remember next time. I had some videos playing as well. Yeah, let's go. So, yeah, to AVAX, right? Looking at AVAX, we were looking at a possible head and shoulders for AVAX if it were to move to 49. We were expecting this downtrend. Bull market support area sits at 21.35, and it made its way there, right? So AVAX is at a really juicy place, right? When we look at the monthly, you know, we look like that mid Bollinger here in a monthly is a great. I mean, just everything is showing that the 21.35 is a bull market support area. Initially, when we projected our 2,500% possible run for AVAX, where we started here at the lows of $8.50, $8.70, we made a tremendous move into that projection where we ran as high as 681%. We've now regressed from that $8 area where we're at a 200% move. And what we're projecting from AVAX now after this downturn is a bounce. Okay, a bounce at the mid Bollinger, a bounce at the bull market support area, whatever that is a way to work its way up out of here. And when it exits out of here, there's really nothing stopping it from getting to $71. Possible back test, right, of the support area here at $40, and then boom, off we go to that high at $224. That's what we're expecting from AVAX. That's what we've been tracking from AVAX. And when you go into the lower time frame, right, again, we see bullish divergence on Bitcoin. Do we see bullish divergence on AVAX? You better believe it. You better believe it. Because what do we have here? RSI that's been scaling higher and higher and higher and higher since what? Since April of 2024. And again, since that same April of 2024, price that's been going lower and lower and lower. So at this point, something has to give, something has to break. We believe that bull market support area is going to hold extremely well, and AVAX is in a place where it's juicy to be stacked up. Some consolidation and a pattern to help us move up out of here when it comes to AVAX. So that leads us then to Jewel, right? That leads us then to Jewel. This pattern we've looked at, this pattern we've been anticipating and waiting for. And what are we expecting from Jewel? Okay, let's dive into it. We've spoken a lot about this long-term time frame that we're looking at, the beginning in 2021 at 0.07, capitulation to these lows at 11.5, depression to even lower at 7 cents, a formation of a head and shoulders, okay, a small head and shoulders that formed here. What happened after that? As that head and shoulders formed, that was a, let me just get this straight. As that head and shoulders formed, that was a formation that was 120% run from Jewel. And then a total of, once we completed that formation and an impulse, 1,000% move from the past head and shoulders. Now that we're in here and we're looking at an even bigger head and shoulders. I mean, this is over a couple years. An even bigger head and shoulders. What are we looking at now? Well, we're looking at, if we got 1,000% move, I would take the onus to say we're looking at a possible 4,600% move to $5.58. Okay, a 4x. If the initial smaller head and shoulders gave us 1,000% move, a much larger historical head and shoulders could possibly give us a 4x move, which brings us to $5.58 with not many barriers stopping us from getting there. And so is this support possible here at 11 cents, all right, 11.5 cents? What has been happening? That's how the other shoulder needs to form. And even though it's a little bit lopsided, it's a little bit off, it's not perfect, how is that 11-cent area doing as we move closer into the charts and we look at each candle being 4 hours? Now, previously, I put that the bullish divergence has been invalidated, but as of last week, we can come back and say, no, it hasn't been invalidated. Why hasn't it been invalidated? Well, when you look at the RSI, all right, you are getting what? Higher bounces and higher momentum and higher movements, okay? If I go to the 12 hours, you may be able to see it better, right? RSI is climbing, right? Even though we had this downturn here, and it's climbing pretty aggressively, okay? Boom. And you have the normal RSI climbing as well. And you have the price action that made its way back up to the support area of 11 cents. And in the history, the last capitulation area was at 11 cents. And so this head and shoulders, macro head and shoulders, is still in play, okay? And not only is it still in play, we're seeing that it bounced aggressively back there. If we go to the daily, it bounced aggressively back there, all right, and is looking to find some support here. And the head and shoulders pattern that we have drawn out here leads us to where? Leads us to about 74 cents. This is the Efferon and find out zone, right? Similar to Bitcoin, where it had its Efferon and find out zone, and it had a lot of traffic there. Between 15 cents and 28 cents is the Efferon and find out zone. For Jewel, if we go over to the 3-day chart, oh man, this is starting to look scrumptious as I adjust this RSI here and we show another bullish movement in the RSI, and we see this pattern holding this 11-cent area and formulating to get out of here. So really bullish on price action, really still confident that Jewel is finding historical support after almost a 3-year chart This is a do or die moment, and we are very, very excited about this. And I don't even have a lot of Jewel right now. I literally almost had 0 Jewel. I picked up my first 500. I'm looking to pick up some more. OG players, new players, everyone is looking to get some before that escalation, not financial advice. And so that's the projection on Jewel. All right, what we have going there. We're looking for an impulse of 74 cents. We're looking for nothing stopping price action until about $5.58. And generally, that's what we're looking at here. We do have the chat here. 91 Karma says, do you believe Jewel will see a new all-time high this bull market? That I'm not confident in. I'm not confident in a new all-time high, right? And I say that because Jewel hasn't been moving that well, price action wise, in the start of the bull market. You've had some things in GameFi, you've had some things in crypto, like still show pretty good movement and stability through those movements, right? And Jewel hasn't shown that, right? And so Jewel has shown the ability to have quick spikes, right? And so, you know, I have all-time high here at $22. So I'm not one who thinks that Jewel could possibly make it to all-time highs, but if it does, I'm selling a good and great portion of whatever I have, because Jewel has shown a history of not being able to stay at those higher prices for longer periods of time, right? And so if we get this move to $13, which is the top of this here, so this move between $10 and $13, I will probably let go of a large, substantial amount of the Jewel that I'm holding. And a lot of others would, and that may actually be what causes more aggressive price action. But until we breach this $1.14 area to this $5 area, I'm not willing to speak, especially with the timing that I'm looking at for this market, with not a lot of time left in this bull market. I'm not one that thinks it can break its all-time high in this bull market. But when you look at the next price, right, additional bull markets to come, I think $41 is very attainable. Whether it's this bull market or next bear market, I think $41 is very attainable for Jewel. So that's just my honest opinion. And that's just what I think. I think it's just a tough. It's going to be hard to hit all-time highs, because even when you get to the previous all-time highs, a lot of traffic, a lot of resistance, a lot of people looking to sell at that marker. You know, so it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to see that, to see it happen. What is the all-time high market cap? Hard to compare price all-time high, in my opinion, when the token wasn't fully circulated. Yeah, all-time high market cap was $1 billion for Jewel, and that's because there wasn't a lot of other stuff going on at that time. So like, I remain optimistically pessimistic that, and I don't think Jewel sees all-time high. I just don't at the current moment. And I'm going to maintain that attitude even when we're seeing price action moving really aggressive. I'm going to maintain that attitude. I'm sorry. Optimistically pessimistic. And that's just the vibe on Jewel. But all in all, we believe Bitcoin holds that 60K, 63K to be accurate. AVAX price chart is now tapping its all-time high. It's touching its bull market support area. So now that we're going to start to see positive action from AVAX, more liquidity to come into DeFi Kingdoms and Jewel. We're watching this inverse head and shoulders on Jewel. We're watching that 11.5 cent mark to see if it holds. And that's what we're tracking for the next few weeks. Like, you're not going to get instant gratification right off the bat when it comes to price action. You're not, but you have to make a call. You have to make an inference. and people will burn you at the stake and they'll stone you for it. But you have to do it, and this is what comes with the field. Just like how those who are going to be participating in PvP and PvE, you don't know where you're going to fall, but you have to have the balls to put your neck out there, and that's what comes with this ecosystem. It's just probability. I'm wrong sometimes, right? And that's just what it has to be. And one thing that we'll look at here on the watch list is Swift Tissel. Okay, now Swift Tissel has had a major correction, and I've actually seen on Token Foundry that the supply has started to go up, and that's been very, very interesting. But when I come and I look at these charts, it's just an objective outlook on this chart, right? We had a rejection because historically, yeah, this is a major rejectionary period, right? Volume's going down, RSI is going down. And so we have to be realistic with ourselves and say, hey, Swift Tissel can go to zero. But from what I see right here, this is just a rejection and the pull down. And all I want to do with Swift Tissel over the next couple of weeks is to hold what I'm holding, measure these support and resistance areas, right? Measure these support and resistance areas, right? Draw my Fibonacci retracements here. And what I'm going to tell myself is, let me draw this here. What I'm going to tell myself is we have a high here, right? And this is that rejection area. We have a high here for Swift Tissel. We have a low here, right, at this market here. The projection still puts us at 48, right? I think I had 61 and 48 with some of those projections that I did, right? So even at the lower boundary for Swift Tissel, I still think as Jewel makes its way to $5, $3, I still think that Swift Tissel, right, has a possible, and let me shrink this down. Like, scared money don't make no money, okay? Scared money don't make no money. So Jewel is the priority, right? Jewel is the priority at the moment. But looking at Swift Tissel, right, from the current area that it's at, it's still a 1,700% possible gain. So Jewel has a 4,600% gain. Swift Tissel has a 1,700% possible gain. So I'm still in Swift Tissel, use it for my potions. I'm deciding now whether I want to buy more Swift Tissel, you know, based upon the liquidity in the market cap, or whether my focus is going to be on Jewel now. But the thing about Swift Tissel tells me that it's not going to do what it's doing after now price has cooled off and consolidated, and we're back into that range consolidation area, getting ready to gear up for that next leg. So you guys are all selling Swift Tissel? Sure. At some point, you're going to end up buying some Swift Tissel. But I do think that Jewel is the current priority. Very underwhelmed in my Jewel holdings. Gonna make Jewel a priority, but if I have enough liquidity to grab up some of these other things that I'm bullish on, Swift Tissel, Below, Honk, Jewel, I'm going to scoop some of those up as well. So those are the charts that we've looked at today. I believe that we did look at Blow, or we haven't. I don't think we've looked at Blow yet. So let's look at Blow here. On this chart here, I know that I converted my Blow. My objective is that, you know, September is when we're having that. September is when we're having the land raffle. We see that, you know, Frost Bloater is up 80%. You know, we're seeing movement happening in this ecosystem, right? Frost Bloater is up. Regular Bloater is not really up that much. And we're seeing people, you know, turn and craft their bloaters in. And when you're looking at Blow itself, we know we went from V1 to V2. We know that that changed the chart. And so we have some different things that we're looking at here, right? We have the 3-day chart here, and this looks decent, right? And what we're looking at here is that possibly the upside from where we are right now is 112% run. Nothing too spectacular. We're not going to talk about the further upside until we get some movement here from below. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we want, if we look at the smaller time frame, let's go to the 4 hour, not a lot of history, right? But what we have is, this is danger area. We don't want going below this danger area. And you see that in this recent history, when it's come toward this danger area, it's been bought up very quickly by the market. Very quickly by the market. And what we're seeing here is we want this to form as a support, but we want below to range. You can range in this area and find your way up out of here. That'd be great. I think that happens in that August, mid-August to late August region as we prepare for the land giveaway. So if I can go in, I can have that 56% yield, 56% APR. I'll take it, right? I'll take it. I'll hold my bag. I'll only sell below in that mid to late August area to recoup the original funds that I put in there. And I'd love to see below consolidate here, find support here, and make its way up out of here. But this V2 version, the mechanism that was built for below, is meant to now benefit, right? I think the contract that was set up before in the V1 wasn't meant that, or wasn't helping when bridging was happening. This should. That mechanism wasn't helping when you were converting, making that conversion. So I'm in here. You know, some of my layer 0 funds that I'm getting, I've turned to below. My frost bloaters, I've turned to below. And I will continue to do that, especially with my botted account. So just watching below. We're in, we got a bag, we're sitting there, we're waiting, and that's what kind of we're doing right now. So, you know, I think to kind of wrap up our stream here, you know, we expect the presidential elections to have a great impact on this ecosystem. We saw what the Democratic Party is doing. We saw what the Republican Party was doing. We're seeing a little bit of a change of sentiment in the DeFi Kingdoms ecosystem. And we believe that all of this inertia that's coming into play is leading us to the possible top of the crypto market coming in Q4 of this year. So we're going to continue to watch it. We're going to continue to plan for the top of the bull market. We are seeing what's happening with politics in the US and the largest equity markets. We're seeing what's happening with the charts. And overall, even though markets have been trending down, we're seeing great consolidation in the charts, and we are feeling bullish. Now, bullish doesn't mean literally tomorrow prices start going up, but we're looking at the next 7 to 15 days to start seeing some bottoming forming, maybe a flash crash or two to give us great buying opportunities. But overall, we're sitting here pretty bullish on the market as we stand. And so let's tap in and let's get a little bit of bull money.
Pump it up, don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for stopping by. Make sure to put a thumbs up, okay? Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, share it with a friend. Catch me on the Jewelers Podcast coming up in a little bit here, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. We're going to close out here, and we're going to pump it up.